What's up, dude? Today I was looking back through the history of my YouTube channel to see if I shared this coleslaw recipe, and I was pretty shocked to see that I hadn't done so. It's cheap, the ingredients are simple, and I can honestly say I think this will actually be your new favorite coleslaw recipe. I've been making it for probably 15 years now, and it always just slaps. I'm gonna say slap. Should I say slaps?
Say it.
I really sincerely hope you give this recipe a try, and as always, there is no time to waste. Now let's go! For the coleslaw mix, I'm starting with this purple cabbage. I think it's called red cabbage, but I'm looking at it and it looks purple. So we're calling it purple. And for this, I'm just gonna use half. You get so much out of one of these. Just careful when you do this. From here, then I'll quarter it, turn it up like this, and we'll just take a good amount of that core out, but not too much where it's gonna start falling apart, right? And now with this, you can always just go with a knife and slice it up pretty darn thin, as you can see here. Although, you're never gonna be as consistent with a knife as you can be with one of these things. Mandolin, which is probably my most used tool in the kitchen. Always make a few test slices, see where it's at. A little bit thinner, and then we slice away. Don't put much pressure, that's how you get cut, right? And when you get to the end, I'm gonna go ahead and take the guard and just slice the rest. Sometimes you'll get some big chunks in there. I might pull those out. And it's as easy as that. Next, a little bit of green cabbage. Of course, you can do one or the other if you want. I like a mix of both. Not necessary though, same deal. This one's a little scraggly, so I'll just pick off some of those leaves, straight in half. By the way, I did not cut myself with a knife or mandolin. I just smashed my thumb on the stove and it's gross and black. And so I don't want you to see it. That's why it's covered up. So don't think that the mandolin is at fault here. In fact, I have not once ever cut myself on a mandolin. Knock on wood. I got a big cutting board here so I can knock on it all the time. Again, if you want, you can just use the knife. Of course, you're not gonna go fast like that. If you need to go this slow, go this slow, right? I'm just using my knuckle to line it up, and then I'm just pushing down. It's really simple, you know. You gotta go that slow to learn how to do it, and then from there you can start increasing the speed. But again, back to the mandolin, it just takes the thinking out of it. Like, I just know every single slice is gonna be the same, which is pretty important for coleslaw. Now listen, you could stop right there. Green and red cabbage is definitely good enough, but I always like to add some carrots. And I just happen to find these big old bunched carrots. These look really good. I'm gonna take two of the large ones. I just gave them a little rinse. Take off the tops. Let's peel them up. From here, I'm gonna slice them directly in half like so. And then we take our trusty mandolin, we flip, take our little attachment, pop it in right here next to these screws, tighten it up. This is definitely one of my favorite ways to use this tool. From here, we pop it on, definitely gonna use the guard, and just smash through. Always check your first couple cuts. Looks good, makes these perfect little matchsticks. I just love that shape for salads, coleslaws, pickles. It's just cool. Having said that, if you want to just practice some knife work, you can just stand up the carrot, slice off these little planks like this, stack them up, lay them down, and from here, slice through into matchsticks again, which also works nicely. Having said that, it's never gonna be as consistent as a mandolin, which is why I love that so much. This is the only brand I've bought for the last decade. I'll put a link to it in the description. And the last thing I'm gonna add is a little bit of cilantro leaves. I like to just pick them off the stem like this, straight onto the mix, which I'll show you how to store here in a second. People make fun of people who say cilantro tastes like soap, but it's a real thing. It means that your body can simply detect the aldehydes that are present in cilantro. For people whose bodies can't detect aldehydes, it doesn't taste like soap. I'm not doing too much cilantro because it does taste a tiny bit soapy for me, but not too bad. And it's gonna perfume this whole batch of coleslaw. I like to just mix it on my board here. I love having a board this big. I got this thing at Home Depot. It's just a chopping block. Awesome. There we go, mix, mix, mix. Then what I'll do is just take a gallon Ziploc bag. This is the beauty of making coleslaw mix at home. If you're buying those pre-shredded ones, I highly recommend you make it yourself. They tend to dry out. Making it yourself is a pleasant experience. Of course, you can add more stuff here. Although, if you have any wet ingredients like tomatoes, even bell peppers, I would keep those chopped separately, not in the same bag. They will break everything down a lot faster. It's not gonna last as long. You can keep this in your fridge. It will last for probably 2 weeks. Although I try to use it up within a week, and trust me, it's just gonna be so fresh the entire time. And there's your homemade coleslaw mix done. Let's get to the best part of this video, which is the most easy and delicious coleslaw dressing you're probably ever gonna try. We're gonna start by just juicing some limes. I think when I was younger in my cooking career, I would never, ever, ever use one of these things. I just took pride in just doing everything like this. I would just squeeze. I would squeeze everything and be like, look how dry it is. And then I'll probably have some kind of arthritis in my hand. My hands got sore. So, you know, use one of these things. Nothing wrong with these things. Next up, I'm just gonna microplane some garlic. Another tool I can't live without. You gotta have a microplane. Look at that. Shreds everything into a fine paste. Before we finish mixing up this dressing, let me tell you about the #1 shopping tool in America, Honey, which rhymes with my name, kind of meant to be. Imagine having this magical little button at the top of your browser that can save you money on so many items across the internet. Well, you don't have to imagine, it's literally called Honey and you can get it right now. Let me explain to you how this works. Quite simply put, it automatically searches for promo codes so you don't have to. I've actually been on the lookout for a new Vitamix blender, and Honey helped me save 60 bucks by showing me which store to buy it at to get the best deal possible. And no matter what you're shopping for in your own life, Honey is always coming in clutch with the best deals possible. And that's just one example from me. It works on things you're already buying on sites that you're already shopping on. Every time when I use Honey, I do get a little feeling of excitement and joy when I save some money. It's just fun. I don't know how else to put it. I highly suggest you add it to your browser today for free at joinhoney.com/ThatDudeCanCook. And don't just go to joinhoney.com, go to joinhoney.com/ThatDudeCanCook, because that's how you support this channel. Thank you so much, PayPal Honey, for sponsoring this video, and now back to the recipe. Look how easy this is. Mayonnaise, lime juice, a little bit of salt. Sergeant Gilbert reporting for duty. Black pepper, your garlic, and Chipotle. I bought the one that's already diced up. Doesn't really matter, I just like it to be in a little bit smaller pieces. Look at this, you won't believe the flavor you get out of this. This makes American coleslaw taste like shit. I'm actually gonna get a whisk. I can't believe I haven't shared this on social media yet. I make this every summer all the time. Why haven't I not shared this? I don't get it. Should have been like the first thing I taught you guys. Just taste. Oh. It's sour, smoky, and salty. It's just hitting all those notes. And of course, if you want more heat, add more Chipotle. If you want less heat, add less Chipotle. But as far as the ratio of lime juice to mayonnaise, I think this is pretty good. And that's all she wrote. Go ahead and cap it. Say hello to your new favorite summer coleslaw dressing. This is it. And this will last for probably months in your fridge, although you're gonna use it up long before then. With this coleslaw, you can virtually add whatever you like. Add some peppers, add some freaking tomatoes, avocado, whatever. Protein, shrimp, chicken. Having said that, one of my favorite additions is corn. So we're gonna start by shucking it, and I still think the best way to get the hairs off of the corn is with a little towel, any kind of towel. Just like that always seems to work fine. From here, I just like to snap it in half, makes it a little bit easier to work with for the next step. And I'll just season up some boiling water, about 2 teaspoons of salt in there, and I'm just gonna blanch the corn, cutting it close, which really brings out the color, as you can see how that just changed, and it'll soften it up a little bit. Having said that, you can absolutely do raw corn, and another of my favorites is to grill the corn outside before slicing it off the cob. That's also really good for a little smoky flavor to complement the smoky Chipotle in that sauce. About 6 minutes for me. I don't like to do it much longer than that, so it still has a little bit of crunch, and I'm dropping it straight into some ice water. That's just gonna stop the cooking process and cool it down. I'll only leave it in here for about 2 minutes, or just long enough to where it's not hot anymore. And now we'll simply just use a knife, take it off the cob. Ooh, don't you love when that happens? Look at that piece. Ooh, work our way around. And there you have it. Let's finish this up. Start with some of our mix here. Drop in some corn, happy days. A little bit more salt and pepper, and let's dress it up. Do as little or as much dressing as you like. I like it a little bit saucy. There we go. Now let's plate it up. And when you plate it up, always do it in 3 different sections so it comes out looking nice. Marcus, come on down, dude. I know Marcus likes coleslaw. Try this. Also, before we dig in, I have a really cool technique for chicken thighs. That's what you see right here. This is something that I like to serve it with. You can also use that coleslaw as a part of a sandwich. At the end of the video, I'll put a link to the recipe for these chicken thighs. Man, I'm just so sorry I waited this long to share this one with you guys. How to describe it?
It's like good in your mouth.
When I eat American coleslaw, I might be done after a few bites. I mean, I'll enjoy it. With this one, this has this addictive quality about it. You know what I mean? Where you want to keep coming back in for another bite. I could wreck this whole plate.
Make it.
Marcus says make it, you gotta make it. The chicken thigh recipe I mentioned is right here, and here's another incredible chicken recipe if you wanna keep learning today. Again, there's links for all my favorite products as well as that mandolin down in the description. And we also have some pretty sweet merch now available for purchase. Thanks for watching, and until next time, you know I love you and I'm out!